You're watching KOIN TV, Channel 6, live from the heart of Portland, the news station for Oregon and Southwest Washington. This is Newsroom 6.
Good afternoon. I'm Marcia Coffey.
And I'm Mark Hendricks. The curfew ends tonight in Los Angeles. Mayor Todd Bradley says the streets are calmer now, 3 days after the riots which followed the Rodney King verdict.
Calmer maybe, but still troubled. Just last night, National Guard troops opened fire at one man, as Cindy Kennard reports.
The death toll resulting from the violence here has now risen to 51. The National Guard shot and killed a man overnight who police claim tried twice to storm the guard post. This is the first incident involving the National Guard since they were sent here Thursday night to help stop the violence after the verdict. For the most part, though, the streets remained quiet, a third night of relative calm helping to soothe the city scarred by 48 hours of shootings, flames, and sorrows.
We never have had anything, but you know, when we finally get something, they tear it down.
This morning, and the dusk to dawn curfew is being lifted.
You'll be free to walk and ride the streets of Los Angeles because the curfew will be lifted Monday night.
And while some signs of normalcy seeped back in over the weekend, still there were jolting reminders of the riots that ravaged this community.
Kilo Actual, this is Stryker. Roger, when you get those two Marines, go ahead and tell
6,000 soldiers deployed on the streets and expected in place until midweek.
Pretty much beyond the realm of my imagination, but we're here, so make the most of what we can.
The cleanup is underway both in the courts where more than 9,000 await arraignment and on the streets where more than 10,000 buildings were looted, burned, or destroyed.
About $300,000.
But the cleanup can remove only the physical scars in a city where tragedy has left a legacy of mistrust and anger.
I'm sick of it. Anytime I could be here for 22 years serving this community, and this is the end result, there's something sick and wrong with the community.
Mayor Bradley has appointed former Olympic director Peter Uberoth to head the rebuilding effort. Uberoth says he will not rebuild the south central area of the city the way it was. He's declared he'll help make it better. Cindy Kennard, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Uberoth says he'll call on nearly everyone to lend a hand. He says foreign countries like Japan, which do a lot of business in Los Angeles, will be asked to contribute. Here's what he had to say on CBS this morning.
We have to roll back a whole lot of red tape and say, let's get moving and get moving now. And then the private sector, because you can rebuild. We're going to hopefully rebuild much better than it was even before the riot. But we have to rebuild with jobs. The inner city needs jobs, real jobs. So there's a dignity and a long-term future for the people of central part of the city of Los Angeles.
Uberoth says it's going to take courageous companies to reinvest in riot-ravaged areas, but he says he can find them.
The truck driver you saw beaten on television during the riots is recovering, but still faces surgery for a shattered skull. 36-year-old Reginald Denny says he doesn't remember the beating. This morning he wrote a note to hospital staff saying, "Thank God for all of you." A relative of Denny's took time this morning to thank his rescuers, two people who'd been watching the beating on TV and decided to move in.
So one single rose surrounded by the white flowers signifies them because they kind of shine above everybody else for what they did, and it signifies friendship and surrounded with love.
The two say they don't feel like heroes.
Like a regular person. The guy was in desperate need of someone to come through for him at the time, and that's what we did. Just came through for the guy.
Hello? You want to be on the camera?
I want to be on camera. Hi.
This is a home video of Denny from before the beating. Doctors say it was lucky coincidence he ended up at a hospital that specializes in head and neck injuries.
The Portland's Leadership Roundtable today expressed gratitude for this city's relatively quiet response to the troubles in L.A., but they warned against complacency. This group of civic, business, and education leaders saluted Portlanders' decency that erupted in L.A.
The kind of beating incurred by Rodney King shouldn't happen to a dog. We're still very replete with racism. We're very, very replete with prejudice and bigotry. Something must be done in this country much more dramatically than what is occurring now.
The group wants Portlanders to become, quote, partners in a caring community, unquote. To that end, it is developing work plans to strive for a 100% high school graduation rate.
A Korean convenience store owner and his wife are being treated at Emmanuel Hospital for stab wounds they received after fighting off an armed robber. A little after 7 this morning, a man identified as 25-year-old Raymond Leroy Lawrence walked into R&R Market at 57th and Fremont, allegedly armed with a knife. Police say he approached the store owner and demanded money. The victim refused and Lawrence stabbed him. The victim's wife was cut while trying to fight off the suspect. 4 witnesses were able to subdue the man until police arrived. Lawrence is being held on 2 counts of attempted murder and first-degree robbery. Police say he was arrested within the past month for holding up several convenience stores. Lawrence has an outstanding warrant for 3 counts of robbery in the first degree.
In a little more than an hour and a half, the Portland Trail Blazers will begin practice for round 2 of the Western Conference playoffs. They returned to Portland yesterday afternoon, glad to be finished with round 1.
I was glad the NBA moved the game, but I'm glad to be back. I'm glad we won today. I'm looking forward to playing against Phoenix Tuesday.
If you haven't heard by now, the Blazers beat the Lakers 102-76 to clinch the first round yesterday in Las Vegas. Clyde the Glide had 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. The Blazers play Phoenix tomorrow night in Portland.